Welcome friends to another r/malicious-compliance video. As always, if you enjoy this video, please make sure to hit that subscribe button. Our first story of the day is by Talk to Man. Annoying Karen wanted the exact change and got mad when she got the exact change. This happened like 5 years ago when I worked in a grocery store, so I might be paraphrasing a little since I don't remember exactly what was said. I'm gonna talk about change in Swedish krona. 1 Swedish krona is about 10 cents USD. It was a quiet Saturday morning in the store. There were barely any customers in the store. I was just hanging around the mall checkout. In my country, you pick up parcels in big letters at your local grocery store since we don't have post offices anymore. Preparing parcels for return, stocking stamps and envelopes, whilst keeping an eye out for customers. We were understaffed that day. Usually at least 2 people were in the store stocking shelves, helping customers, etc. One always answers calls from the checkout and opening the second checkout in case there were many customers, and the other one's supposed to be out in the store helping customers and being available in the mail checkout. But on this day, I was the only staff on the floor. It wasn't a big deal since the store was fairly quiet. I was just minding my own business and enjoyed the quietness of the store, but then Karen appeared. I saw her slowly approach the mail checkout. She was one of the regulars. She was a grumpy, troublesome customer. She acted like she hated the world and everyone in it. She was rude to staff, managers, and other customers, very demanding, always complained about the most ridiculous things. If I'm going to mention everything that was wrong about her, we'd be here all day. Simply put, when you saw her in the store, you knew she had some BS on her mind. Karen comes up to me grumpy as usual, starts violently ringing the bell by the mail checkout even though I was right in front of her. And then the following conversation ensued. Karen says, "Hello, service please." I say, "Yes, hi, what can I help you with?" She says, "I want to buy a stamp." I say, "Yes, do you want a stamp with a certain postage amount or a quantity stamp?" I need to ask this because she didn't specify what kind of stamp she wanted. Karen sighs. "How am I supposed to know? You're the one working here. A regular stamp. How hard is it to understand?" I say, "Okay, so a quantity stamp. Is the letter under 50 grams? I did know that she probably wanted a quantity stamp, but I still have to ask." She sighs. "Yes, how hard is it to understand?" I picked up a stamp and registered it in the checkout as you do. I say, "Yes, that'll be 9 krona. Karen gives me a 10 krona coin. And I open the checkout box and I see that we're out of 1 krona coins. In my head I was like, oh screw me, she's going to make a fuss out of this. I say, "I'm sorry, but we're out of 1 krona coins. Do you have another 1 krona? So I would get 11 krona and can give her a 2 krona coin back." She says, "But why? I want my 1 krona back, nothing else. You need to go get more change. That's your job. You're just too lazy to go get me my change." I might sound like I was lazy as she said, but for some context, all the extra cash was stored in a safe in a different building. In order to get more change, you would need to walk to the other end of the store, down to the basement, out to the street, round a corner, and go down another set of stairs, and there's the safe. The safe was also super annoying to open. The combination was long and tricky and it had a timer, so if you didn't manage to get the combination right in a certain time, the safe would reset the combination and you would have to wait a minute before you could try again. I wasn't that used to opening that safe since I rarely needed to open it. Some coworker would always do it. But I knew the combination, but since I wasn't used to putting it in, it would take some time. Like, I got the wrong combination the first time, so I needed to wait and try again. Bear in mind, we were understaffed that day, and I didn't want to leave the store unsupervised just because some Karen wanted a 1 krona coin when I even saw that she had more 1 krona coins in her wallet. I explained how inconvenient it is to get more change and that we're understaffed. Karen says, "Unacceptable. I want my change. Now go get it, you lazy brat." I say, "I'm sorry for the inconvenience, but if you work with me, we're gonna solve it. I noticed that you actually had 1 krona coins in your wallet." She cut me off. "Why are you looking in my wallet? It's none of your business what I have in my wallet. Are you going to get me my change or not?" I just hatched a plan. I'm gonna give her the exact change, just a 1 krona coin. I say, "Oh, I'm so sorry. Yes, of course, I'm gonna get your exact change." The customer's always right. With my biggest service smile, I say, "You wait here." The Karen says, "Well, finally." So I walked through the store, out the back, down to the safe, struggled with the combination, got it wrong twice. I did eventually get it open. So I took a tube of 1 krona coins, a paper tube with 25 coins, and I opened it, took out 1 coin, and put the rest of the tube in my pocket. I then proceeded to walk back to the store. I walked through the whole store whilst holding a single 1 krona coin, arm extended right in front of my face, walking towards Karen by the mail checkout. A small line had formed behind the Karen, and you could hear the line sigh when they saw me coming with a single 1 krona coin. I gave the coin to Karen with a big smile and said, "Here's your change. I'm so sorry for the inconvenience." She looked at me dumbfounded and said, "Thanks, but you didn't have to embarrass me in front of all the other customers. Worst customer service ever. I'm never coming back here ever again." I say thank you. Have a nice day. She then left with a huff. After she had left, I picked up the 1 krona coin tube out of my pocket and filled the cash box with the rest of the coins. How's that bad customer service? I did exactly what she told me to do. She wanted the change, and she got the change. But to be honest, what the freak is wrong with some people? A normal person would have just given me an extra 1 krona coin if they had one, take their 2 krona coin, and left. Or if they didn't have one, they would just say, "Screw it, it's 1 krona." I would have said that. Let me preface this by saying it's always nice to get all your money back. But let me ask you guys, if you're at a store and you're exchanging cash for whatever the items are, you gave $1 or some low amount for something, and the cashier's beginning to get the change ready for you. The cashier goes, "Oh, I'm sorry, I can't get change for the last 10 cents because we just don't have enough low coins." In that moment, are you going to stand there and say that you really want them to find a way to get you those 10 cents? Or would you have a reaction that's more like, 10 cents, whatever, and go on about your day? Let me know in the comments down below. This next story is by Yeah, I Know Too. Is the water still too cold? I used to be a server at a locally owned stir-fry restaurant. It was an okay place to work. Everything was really relaxed. Like I saw the back and wouldn't eat there myself sort of relaxed. It was also really shady. We used to joke it was ran by the Chinese mafia for various reasons. I also worked with a few lifers. Now, if you've served, you know these women, and for those of you that haven't, a lifer is someone who's been a server their entire life. Usually, they've even been serving at the same place for decades. Some are nice and great to work with, but most of the time, they're really horrible, crabby, just unhappy people. They have their way of doing things and want everyone to do it exactly the same. If they do not like you, they will make your life heck, and if you stick it out, they'll usually try to manipulate the managers into firing you. Usually the managers know what's going on and just put you on different shifts, but anyway. I had one woman at this place that was always on my case for every little detail. I got along amazingly well with the rest of the staff, and they usually stood up for me when she tried her BS. But one day it was just me, her, and one other server who was new. My shift was ending, so I did my side work, including changing the water buckets that held the rags we used to wipe tables, and then sat to roll silver when I hear it. "OP, the water in the serving station's cold." I know it wasn't since I had just changed it out. But I get up and change it again, not wanting to argue. "It's still cold, change it right." So I get up, go over, make sure the water from the tap is nice and hot, fill the bucket, and go back to my rolling. "OP, the water's still cold. Change it right or I'll have the manager write you up." Cue malicious compliance. The water that we brew coffee in gets well over 200 degrees, but she wants the water hot. So I go and fill the bucket directly out of the big industrial coffee brewer. I set it down and go back to my rolling, after giving warning to the new girl to give the water time to cool down. About 2 minutes later, I hear a scream. Miss Lifer had plunged her whole hand into the water. Now, she didn't get super burned, but she got one heck of a scalding and her hand was a lovely shade of pink. Even the manager, who knew what was going on, told her, "Well, you said it wasn't hot enough." She brought her boyfriend in the next few days to eyeball me and play the stupid intimidation game that ended up with him getting physically threatening with me and her getting fired. The last thing the owners needed to have around was the cops after all. The best part is I had gotten a job at a retail place not long after as a manager. Guess who was still looking for work and dropped off her application? The look on her face when I came out of my office to personally accept it? Priceless. I'm just imagining like a really dark door. And OP emerges from the shadows, struts right up to the desk and goes, well, how the turntables. This next story is by Sean J222. Evict me without cause and only give me till midnight to be out? No problem. So once upon a time, I was living in a not legal basement apartment of an old Hungarian woman's house. I was poor, the place was cheaper than what was around, so I took it. How bad could it be? She was horrific. At first, she was an okay landlady, but then things started to turn. First, I noticed that things were off when I got home from work. Ever get that feeling someone was in your room? That. So I asked her if she'd been in there and she denied it. Then I set up a camera and caught her on camera. Asked her again and she denied it, saying she never goes in my apartment without telling me. Then I showed her the video and she got mad at me. I work nights. One time she came in during the daytime and I was there, in bed, no clothes, under the sheets. I woke up when she came in and asked if I could help her. She said no and left. After that, she would call me lazy boy when she saw me, assuming I didn't work since it was at night. Things kept getting worse. She'd sometimes shut off the water when she thought I was using too much, or when I refused to share my Wi-Fi password with her other tenant. Finally, one night I had some friends over for a birthday. There were 6 of us in total. It was around 11 p.m., and trust me when I say we were not being loud at all. Literally just hanging around the coffee table eating cheesecake, talking and laughing. She came into my apartment and started yelling that I was having a loud party with too many people in the middle of the night. She actually came and grabbed my shirt, telling me everyone had to leave. Oh heck no, that was it. So I pushed her off of me and the police were called. That Monday, she left a really poorly written eviction notice on my door, seriously handwritten, telling me to be out by Saturday by midnight. Here's the malicious compliance. By 11:59 p.m. that Saturday, I had all my stuff in the U-Haul. My friends and I were just working on bagging up the trash and other stuff for the dump when she came in and yelled at me that it was past midnight. No problem. I got up and left, leaving a huge pile of junk in the bedroom and storage room, easily 2 pickups worth of crap I wasn't taking. She actually called my father, who was my emergency contact in my application, to tell me it cost her $400 to haul it all away and that I owed her money. He blocked the number. Bonus story, she was showing the apartment when I was still living there. She didn't tell me. So when she led 2 strangers in the daytime waking me up again, I stood up, fully unclothed, fully staffed, and said I wouldn't rent from her if it was the last apartment in town. The couple quickly left. Although it was in your own domicile, I don't know if that last thing was actually legal. I'm willing to lean towards no, but I think the one thing it did succeed in is probably selling the point that that's not a place to rent. And our final story of the day is by Joyful Death. If you can't put your phone away during work hours, this isn't the job for you. I work as a direct support person. My company has some serious hate towards cell phones. They used to fire people on the spot if they were caught with a cell phone. Because of COVID, my company's been suffering badly. They lost about 40% of the staff and roughly half oversights. So they're basically hiring pretty much anyone and throw overtime at anyone who asks for it. But they're still really struggling. It's to the point where they have to have someone pick clients up and bring them to other clients' places because they don't have enough staff to cover everyone. I work with large amounts of clients and am pretty much capable of doing almost anything that supervisors can do. I'm also the one who's trained many other employees, so they often come to me before they go to the supervisor. Last week, I was working and I was bored out of my skull as usual. I was working with this client who didn't want to do much besides watching TV or playing on his tablet all day, so I was on my phone. One of the managers walked in and snuck up to me and tapped me on the shoulder. I turned to look at the manager and casually say hi. The manager then acted like I was surprised and trying to hide the fact that I was using the phone. I was casually holding it as the manager gave me a long lecture. I told the manager, I work 16 hours a day and took on many tasks that I don't have to just to give the supervisor some breathing space. I sure darn as heck am going to use my phone when there's nothing else to do. The manager then smirked and told me to put my phone away and told me I'd have to come down to the office sometime in the next few days. I remind the manager of how crappy some employees were, hours late every day, literally sleeping on the job, etc., and didn't get fired. So it's really unfair of them to get all up in arms about me being on the phone. I was told if I can't stay off the phone, then this isn't the right job for me. I went and grabbed my stuff, then clocked out. The manager was jumping all over the place, screaming about how I can't abandon my clients. I told the manager if I wasn't being nitpicked for this tiny thing that doesn't affect anyone, we wouldn't be in this jam. The manager begged me to stay for just a bit so someone can come and take over. I say no, got in the car, and left with the manager standing there watching me dumbstruck. A bit over an hour later, supervisor contacted me and apologized for what happened. I was informed that they really need me around, and from now on, if anyone comes in, as long as I put the phone away, no one will say a word. Since I like my supervisor and I'm friendly with many employees, I don't want to make things harder on them, and I also need the money. I reluctantly agree to come back the next day, but if I ever hear anything about me being on the phone again, I'm gone. Just a few hours ago, the manager came in and saw me on the phone. I just put it in my pocket and got up, and we had a short conversation about a work issue. Not a single word about the phone was mentioned. I just think it's a little insane that these people want to have say over what you can do and the downtime lulls of the job. If you're just standing there doing literally nothing and nobody sees you, that's going to ever be judgmental except rare cases where somebody comes in. I just don't see why it would be a big deal to use your phone. But with that being said, that's a wrap on another bunch of stories here today. As always, if you guys have any favorite videos of this bunch, let me know which one in the comments down below and why. And if you enjoyed the stories in general, if you could subscribe to this channel, it'd mean a lot to me. I make these videos daily, and it's by far and away the best way to support my channel. So no matter what you did, whether it was subscribing or liking, leaving a comment, I just appreciate the heck out of you guys. And as always, I'll be back tomorrow with even more stories right here on the Storytime channel.